Right, okay.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to
Hello.
the Lucky Hit podcast.
Hello.
All right.
Welcome to the Lucky Hit podcast, number 96.
Ooh.
It's like the same number twice, but one of them's upside down. This one's a bit unusual because usually we would just be broadcasting these over YouTube, but today is a bit of a special one because we are. Oh, hey, we've got Tom Lee C in the chat. That's cool. Hi there. This one's a bit special because we are actually also being broadcast over the radio or the internet radio with Radio Sega for their 2020 WinterFest.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're actually in several places right now, and I think on Radio Sega we're technically probably a few seconds ahead of YouTube, but I don't know how that works. But either way, hello. I am AnimatedAF.
I'm CherryT.
I'm Murry Curry.
I'm Hunk Thunder.
And I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, for crying out loud.
That's right, AnimatedAF. Bell couldn't make it this week, probably cause he's the slow. That's why I'm filling in for him on this week's Lucky Hit podcast.
I'm convinced.
I got you guys. That worked.
Hang on.
Wait, I thought that was actually Sonic.
Nah.
No, it's me. I'm Elk.
Oh, he's done us.
That was good and proper.
Right before Christmas as well. Christmas is ruined now.
Yeah, thanks, Elk.
Well, all right, I'm not gonna enter another endless laughing fit again. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially not over your own jokes.
Oh.
Anyway, this is the 21st of December. So I guess this will be the nearest our podcasts are to Christmas. So I guess you can count this as our Christmas special, I suppose. And we're not really
the 21st night of December.
Yep. Careful, we might get content ID'd if you sing more of that. Anyway, this is probably... We're not really going to be talking about anything Christmassy, but this is our Christmas special. There's snow on the thumbnail, innit? So, yeah.
And there's mulled wine on it as well.
Yep.
And ice and tongues on icy poles.
Yep. So I guess we'll start this thing how we usually start this thing and talk about what we've been playing. I don't know who wants to go first.
Why don't you go first? It's your podcast.
My podcast is our podcast. It's all of ours thing.
Go first.
I'll go first. I haven't really been... Well, I have been playing quite a few things, but I mainly really want to talk about one game in particular. So I did another eShop car booty in the week, where I basically look at cheap as chips games on the Nintendo Switch eShop, and they're having a winter sale at the moment, so there's I think it's 1,500 games on sale or something like that, which is...
Well, it's more now.
I can't even believe there's that many games on the Switch, let alone on sale, but no, apparently there's truckloads of stuff on the Switch. There's a lot of shovelware, but I like to try and... Basically, I'll go on the eShop and go to the cheapest games first, and then just try and find stuff that looks interesting, and... Yeah, there's actually some pretty good stuff on there at the moment, but there's one game in particular that I've just instantly fallen in love with. It's a game called Horace. If you're wondering what my face on the thumbnail is, it's basically me as Horace. There's a game on there. Yeah, this game's called Horace. It is currently £1.09 until the end of the month. And yeah, as soon as I booted this thing up, I was like, yep, I love this, immediately. Just immediately. I'd heard good things about this, and I had it on my wish list for quite a while, because I think it came out, on the Switch about maybe 6 months ago, something like that. I know it came out...
recent then?
Yeah, it's pretty recent. It came out last year on PC, and now it's on Switch. Oddly enough, it's not on the other consoles yet, and I'm not really sure why, because apparently this game got loads of awards and, massive good reviews and stuff like that, so I was interested in it. And yeah, as soon as I booted this thing up, I was like, yep, I love this. Basically, it's a story-driven platformer, and the platforming involves you playing as this android character called Horace, who's raised up, or sort of I don't know, lives with this old man. The old man eventually passes away, and then you're shut down by like the bailiffs or something like that, and then you wake up years later, like get turned back on years later, and everything's changed. There's like all this weird stuff going on, like some kind of war has happened or something like that. And you end up putting on the clothes of the old man that was essentially your father in a way. And amongst those clothes is some gravity boots that basically just let you walk on any surface. And every time you walk on the surface, the whole world basically shifts to that perspective, or whatever you want to say. So it's a little bit like that game, what's it called? VVVVV kind of.
Yes.
But instead of jumping
I love that game.
Instead of jumping from from the ceiling to the floor, you're basically just any surface, anytime the surface changes angle, you move to that angle. And what's quite funny as well is if you finesse it right, you can actually technically jump upside down into the sky, and you'll end up flying into space.
Oopsie.
Yeah. But yeah, really the big draw of this game is its story, and to be honest, I don't really want to talk too much about this game, because anything I would say would be spoilers, because this is one of those games you really need to go in with almost no knowledge of it if you can, because it just keeps opening up. With every chapter something new happens, or some new gameplay mechanics are added, or entire new genres are like placed into it, and the story is really the big draw of this game. It's got it's got a fantastic cast of characters. It's constantly making references to very British things. This is like the most British game you'll probably play. Like there's so many like little nods to things, you know. At one point a character, for example, there would just be like this character who's like, all right, come here, Mr. Chips, you know, in relation to your android, because it kind of looks a bit like Mr. Chips. And there's just loads of stuff. I really don't want to spoil this game, because it's got a, frankly, kind of amazing plot. Like, it goes places that you just wouldn't expect it to go in, I guess, is the best way to describe it. All the music in it as well. There's a lot of, like, chiptune versions of classical music and Monty Python and all kinds of like funny little references to games and all kinds of like things. Just basically around. I think I'm still on chapter 6 at the moment, which is like the longest chapter so far. And when you get to that chapter, the game essentially opens up in a way that I know that Murry Curry in particular is going to love, like really love.
Okay.
Like it goes in a completely different direction that, yeah, it will evoke a certain game that I know is one of your favourites. So, yeah,
okay.
That's all I'm going to say, because I'm just going to say I implore, especially if you like, well, especially if you're into like British pop culture, I suppose, that's a surface level reason to play this, because there's a lot of references to random British things like sitcoms and old children's telly and all kinds of funny little things like that.
From the start.
From literally the second you boot the game up. I don't know if you saw on the eShop Car Booty, but the way the game boots up, the second that came up, I was like, yep, this is great. Honestly, I think this might be one of No, this is the best game I've played this year. I'm gonna just put that out there, like, already. I've only been playing it for a couple of days now. For like, I think I've put about 5 or 6 hours into it now. But it's easily the best game I've played all year. Like, absolutely smitten. If they, I know it's published by 505 Games. If they're listening, can you do a physical version? I'll take it. I know I only paid £1 for it. I feel a bit bad for only paying £1 for it, because it's incredible and I would love to own this on a cartridge. So can you do that? Just saying. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing. Mostly just
quite
that.
Impressive.
Yeah, I implore everyone here to give it a try, especially for £1. Like, you really can't go wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm grabbing it today, because what I saw, the little I saw of it, because I was in and out on your Booty stream the other day, and it looked really, really good from what I saw.
I'm kind of glad I didn't go into the next chapter on stream because I think that was chapter 6, and I feel like that's the point where the game really opens up. And that was the point. Yeah, that was the point in the game where I was like, okay, yeah, this is. That was the point. Everything up until that point was mostly platforming, but then something changes and it's like, oh, okay, yep. That's what this is now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's most outside of the usual Taiko no Tatsujin, still trying to chase the online stuff so I can unlock. I think it's 2 songs this month to unlock. I was actually a little bit behind because of freelance work earlier in the month, so I'm basically waiting until the next time the songs rotate so I can play those songs and hopefully unlock the 2 that are available this month, which includes a song that was in the Wii U version of Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which had like lyrics, and it's like the most ridiculous like musical number, and you can play that in Taiko. It's like, I really want to unlock that.
Oh, interesting. I had that version of that game, but I don't remember that song.
I think it's the song that plays when you're in like the school stage. I think it plays when you're playing Tekken Ball in the Wii U version because it's exclusive.
I don't remember if I actually played Tekken Ball in that game.
Oh, that's so good. I love.
I did a lot of things in that game. It was a great version of that Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Yeah, like the Mario mode with the mushrooms and all the
that was absolutely hilarious.
All the costumes you could dress the characters up out of. You could dress them up as like Star Fox and Bowser and all this kind of stuff. It was ridiculous.
I think Leech Alan had a Toad costume. It was great.
Yeah, that game's fantastic. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right, who's next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I've been playing PC Builder Simulator IRL.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Oh,
for a second there, I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting sounding game," and then I realised what you said. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who were around last week, I was in the middle of like fixing up my PC because I decided to get a new processor for it. I put the new processor in. It turns out the processor was too young for the motherboard.
Oh, blimey.
So yeah, I had to buy a whole new motherboard, and I gradually put everything back together after much annoyance. The last bit I didn't put in was connecting the power button to the motherboard. I was like pressing the buttons like crazy. It's like, why isn't this switching on?
So you've got the whole thing built up, and you're like, "Yep, this is perfect now." Wait, why is it not turning on now?
Yeah, I really was frustrated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was in a sulk, and I looked up all the YouTube videos just to see what exactly I've done wrong. And I found one video saying, "Oh, you got to put this pin here, that cable there, this, that, and the other." Put the cables in, switched it on, it worked. So I am officially back on the PC gaming wagon, but my SSD that I put in whilst I was changing my motherboard isn't being recognised. And all the games that were on my hard drive have mysteriously disappeared. So some I've had to uninstall, like properly uninstall, just to make sure it's not registering at all. And some things I had to re-download, and that took a bit of time. So as I've fixed up my PC, obviously started streaming again. And on my streams I've been playing, whatever I've been playing, I've actually forgotten over the last week or so. I did play some Fortnite, which...
in ultra-wide, wasn't it? On your monitor, your ultra-wide monitor.
Yeah.
Does that give you a tactical advantage? Because you can see what's around you.
Yeah, I can see a little bit more around the corners than anyone else, but you can't fix slow reactions. And basically, I've got the slowest reactions in the world, so...
Like, I can see you coming.
Yeah.
I can see you coming, but you're still going to get me.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing Fortnite. I've been playing also some Red Dead Online, because I believe still until February, it's reduced to like £4.50 just for the online part.
Oh, okay.
And it is a stunning looking game on PC. And yeah, just paying a small amount just to see it being played. I've got the Xbox One version, so I know all about the story, and I've completed that, got that out of the way. It's just a case, much like GTA Online, it still sits in the same city on towns and bits and pieces, but it's completely different from the story. You got your own character, you build him up and do what you can. I can't remember what else I've been playing.
I mean, you did have a certain little mini device arrive today, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it's sitting right here in front of me.
Have you had a chance to play it yet?
I have. For those who, obviously, the Radio Sega people know all about this. The Astro City Mini was released in Japan earlier this week, or last week. I received it earlier today.
Yay!
Excellent.
It's right there in the thumbnail, so you had to mention it. You're legally obligated to.
I just need that
I'd
little
have been
prompt.
so mad if you didn't talk about it.
Just like, look at me, I've got this, and you haven't. I'm not going to talk about it though. Yeah, honestly, even though I think it's a 480p screen.
Oh, okay.
It looks as sharp as a modern mobile phone screen.
Oh, wow! Nice.
Just like everything is like bright and vivid. All the you can hear that.
Yeah,
got some proper
bit of the old ASMR there for you.
Yeah, got some proper buttons. In fact, I was actually quite worried about the buttons of the Astro City Mini. For those who see me in real life, I have got big-ish hands, and I was a bit worried that my fingers would be too big for the console, but they're perfectly sized. They're perfectly spaced out, and as with the normal Astro City cabinet itself, it's got like a little curve to the 3 buttons, and then the 3 buttons on top of that.
Oh, nice.
So it fits my hand perfectly. Cool. The joystick, it's... I can't even describe it. It's very short, but very precise.
That's really good, because a lot of these little mini, especially like the little arcade stick things, like the Neo Geo Mini, are kind of notorious for not being quite good enough.
They're like little thumbsticks that look a bit chunky and don't feel like an arcade stick, whereas this really does feel like a proper arcade stick, even though it's like a quarter of the size that it should be.
That's brilliant.
Nice.
Just had a question from Viper. Is it me or none of the games on it widescreen, despite the screen being 16:9? Yeah.
That's the only thing about it that I thought was a bit of a strange choice when they actually revealed the fact that that has a 16:9 screen. It's like, that's a bit of a strange thing, because most of the other little mini like arcade cabinets, again going back to the Neo Geo Mini, they have 4x3 screens. So I'm really surprised. I guess they just wanted to make it easy for it, so when you plug it into HDMI, there's no like changing the ratio or anything like that. Maybe that's why they did it, but
I believe it is that because obviously if you used to send an HDMI signal to a 16:9 monitor or a TV, you would have like the big massive bars down the side of the screens.
Yeah, or in some cases with some TVs, it might even stretch the picture and you would have to manually make it 4x3, so maybe they just wanted to circumvent that. It's a minor blight on what sounds like a very solid bit of kit, though.
Yeah, it is. I am really impressed with it. It did cost me a pretty penny, but I'd say it's worth it.
I'm definitely going to be grabbing one soon. As soon as I get a certain bit of commission money come through, I'll definitely be going on to Amazon JP and getting that.
Yeah, I just wish they could sell the 2-player variant with the pink buttons and everything.
Oh, do they not have that on Amazon?
I believe that's a Sega Shop exclusive.
Really? Oh,
yeah, it's not on Amazon.
That's interesting. What I really want to see, how, like, if you got two of these things next to each other, whether you can set them up like you would, like a Street Fighter game in like an arcade where you lead them, facing
like back to back.
Back to back from each other. I'd love to see.
The problem with that is the USB cable that powers the unit, which is only just a micro USB rather than USB-C.
Okay. Oh, it sticks out the back, I suppose.
Yeah, it sticks out there. Got the HDMI port, got a headphone jack, and obviously the two USB connectors for sticking the joypads in, of which I've got two joypads.
Oh yes, you've got two of those little controllers. Have you tried those out?
I haven't yet. They're still in the box.
They're really comfortable. Like they've got like little grooves at the back, so they're actually quite nice in the hand. They kind of look like NES controllers, and apparently the buttons on it are very NES-like. But like apparently the D-pad's a really good one. It's proper, like Mega Drive style D-pad on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give my opinion on them sometime soon. But yeah, I'm really pleased with my little unit. One thing that I would get if I could, the little stand with the seat.
Yes, I'm really as sad as it is, I'm really tempted to get that. It's basically just like a little thing that extends the height of the Astro City Mini to make it look like a proper scale of the cabinet. But it also comes with a little chair.
Yeah.
They did a launch stream for the Astro City on the Japanese Sega YouTube channel as well, and I don't know if it comes included with it, but they had a tiny ashtray as well to go with it.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if that comes with it, but I kind of hope it does. I don't know. But yeah, I might get, depending on how much that is, I might consider that as well.
Yeah, I know the little plastic stand that goes underneath it is basically, it's a money box.
Yes, it's got a coin slot. You can put 100 yen coins into it as well.
Yeah.
It's a shame they didn't find a way to make it so it wires up to the machine, so when you put the coin in, it actually inserts a coin in the thing.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing, but
it would have
as
been.
a little money box, that's a cool idea.
But yeah, I said it once, say it again. It's a neat little unit, and if you can get one, please do get one, because obviously they're going to be limited, and it's very doubtful that they're going to be sold in the West.
It's not looking likely at this point. I think they would have announced it by now. I think they pretty much already confirmed that the Game Gear Micro is not coming over. But
I was hoping the Astro City Mini would at least come here, but I think the chances of that happening are quite slim.
Yeah, I think if it did come over, they would maybe rename it just to something a bit more marketable. They would probably just call it like the Sega Arcade Mini or something. But other than that,
I was thinking that
and
too.
Some of the games might get swapped out because it's a very Japanese-centric lineup.
Yeah, the games I have played so far, I played some Space Harrier, which the joystick is inverted, so it's much like the original.
From what I saw, because Shelf Gamer, who couldn't make the podcast this week, he got his today as well and did a little stream. Apparently there's actually an option. When you hold one of the buttons, you can actually change the controls on Space Harrier from inverted to not inverted.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I've yet to find that button, but I played a bit of that. I played a bit of Virtua Fighter, which plays really well. And what else have I played? Was it Iridan R?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I've tried to see how far I can get with that.
You're thinking of Ichidan R.
That's the one.
Ichidan R. I'll give it that a go, see how far I could get with my limited knowledge of Japanese, and I didn't get past the first round, so there's that. But that's what I've been playing this week.
Cool.
All right.
Who next?
I suppose I'll go next. Lots and lots and lots of Yakuza Like a Dragon. So much. I've hit 130 hours now. Just going mainly on the part-time hero stuff, because it just goes on and on and on.
It really does.
Well, they start getting you to just look for like specific enemy types, and some of them are really well hidden, so you just end up grinding away for ages. Bit of a shame. And then there's all the the usual Yakuza 100% completion stuff. And the way I play these games is I try and do the 100% completion while also getting on with the story. So I'm quite late game now, but I still haven't finished it because I've padded the game out with all this extra stuff. But I'm still enjoying it all the same, even though with, like I say, with some of the part-time hero stuff, I am feeling the grind now, big time. But yeah, really enjoying it. I've been streaming it a lot, so I might actually have to change game soon because I think I just get to the point where I'm only streaming that game now. So I've been enjoying the hell out of it. The story took a bit of a funny turn when I did the stream. Was it last night? Yeah. The story got a bit kind of weak, which is a bit of a shame because I was enjoying it quite a lot there. But I'm sure it'll pick up again because these games have not really let me down too much in that regard. And absolutely loving it. The second game I've been playing lately, I literally started it today, was a complete surprise to me. It was actually a free thing that Minecraft are doing at the moment. They're doing like a sort of advent calendar. I think it's like an advent calendar sort of thing where you get like free stuff every day, but it's usually just like free bits of like what do you call it?
Cosmetics? Or...
Yes, thank you. Yes, cosmetic. So like a silly hat or some weird trousers or something like that. But it was about 2-3 days ago, I think it was. I actually noticed it as a Facebook advert, and it's like a full-blown other game mode. It's called Simburbia, and it's like a little SimCity style city building sim. And it's bloody brilliant.
Minecraft. Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's like a sort of thing where you have to load up. It's a separate world. It's very small, so it cuts off. It's like a big square, and it actually cuts off and just has void. So it's very small and focused. And it's just it's just literally a very focused experience. And it's just this city building mode. So you start off with a load of money, and it's all done in these great big, what do you call them? Big squared off sections of map, and you sort of you spend some money and loads of cranes plonk down and get built for you. Yeah, so it's all very, very sim, and they're very micromanagey and very much up my alley. And I have to say, for something that was free and is essentially just a weird mod for Minecraft, it's a solid game, and I really recommend people grab it because it's still free right now. I think it's free until basically the end of the year, or might even be permanent for all I know. But it is bloody brilliant. So I've been playing it like on and off all day. Like my son grabbed it, and it's a bit too much for him. It's very micromanaging. You have to be able to read a lot and know kind of what you're doing. So he just enjoys running around the city and messing up all the cars and stuff because you're basically giant compared to this world. It's all very small and you're massive Minecraft.
Nice. Oh wow!
But it's really good. I am surprised at the depth of it. I really am. I was expecting this to be a sort of small, maybe quite simple experience, but it's really in depth, and I can't emphasize enough the fact it was bloody free. So check out Simburbia if anyone plays Minecraft. Give it a pop, and like I say, it's absolutely free, and it's surprisingly deep. So that's been me this week, Yakuza, and a nice little surprise.
That's
not
really
a
cool.
bad idea for a Minecraft game.
Yeah, it's really unlike normal Minecraft. Like you can't even interact with most of the blocks. You can't break blocks or things like that. It's literally just like you've been sort of limited to just interaction and building stuff,
Really
but not block by block.
Minecraft.
Yeah, some of the mods that people are doing are crazy now.
Turn it into a completely different game with like limitations and stuff. That's actually really impressive.
It is. It's crazy. Like they've even done a whole Pac-Man one where you do that. Really, it looks amazing. I'm really tempted to grab that because they usually cost about sort of $8.99, which is on the expensive side. But I have had my eye on the Pac-Man one for a while. But like I say, the Simburbia one, maybe after Christmas it will be like $8.99 or something like that. So get it while you can. Basically, I can't tell you because I don't really know how much longer it will be free for. But grab it now. And it looks like there's something else at the end of the month as well, so maybe there'll be another thing as equally as cool as this. Because you sort of see the days of the month sort of thing, and you got like these little presents, and then the big red one, and that was one of the Suburbia. That was Simburbia. That was it. Yeah. So that's me. Who's next? Elk or Stacey?
You want to go Stacy?
Okay. It'll be a bit quick because really it's been a mixture of things. I've gotten back into playing the original Phantasy Star, but the Hordes of Nahak. After a month of not being able to stream because I was equally busy with things, including like work.
Yeah.
And there's that one. I've also been playing the Fire Emblem still, which I talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
I've made a fair bit of progress in that one.
Yeah. How
far that's the original, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, the NES one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm on about chapter 9 or 10 now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not halfway through the game yet, but I'm starting to learn like a few like good strategies. Like apparently like plopping like one of the curates on a fortress, because there's like little fortresses that you can stand on and they slowly let you gain your health. And that's a good way to save on like magic points. But yeah, put like a curate there and have like some like bog standard enemy like a thief come and attack your curate. They get a lot of XP for just withstanding the attack, and they you can grind them that way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one strat I've been able to pick up.
Yeah. Anything else? Or?
Yeah. And I've gotten back into Pokemon Y as well on the DS.
Oh yes.
3DS. Sorry. I think I'm quite late into the story now. I've come to the point where I've actually captured the legendary creature, which is like the Y-shaped bird.
Oh right.
I think it's Evitao.
Okay.
Oh, and there was a cutscene around that point in the game that was really, really daft.
Yeah. You were sitting in bed giggling away at your 3DS. I was like, what's happening?
At this point in the game, there's like a supposed ultimate weapon that the Evitail's energy is supposed to set off. It sort of sets off, but it didn't even just convert everything to rubble. It just knocked a few houses like aside. You know, like they're like log cabins. Like it's like getting the Monopoly house or something and just pushing it over.
It's just like it's this big ultimate weapon that's using the energy of the most powerful Pokemon ever. It's gonna go off. It's gonna be really big, and then like 5 people maybe lose their houses.
Or like,
which is still bad when you think about it. That's still 5 families that are
like going to be displaced.
But,
yeah.
But
they just
not quite as a bit of a wet fart compared to the way they were hyping it up, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to make my progress along that. I've still got to get the 8th badge in that yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's my week.
Oh, okay.
All right, that just leaves me. Finally, time to talk about PSO2.
For those who are listening to the Lucky Hit podcast for the first time on Radio Sega, just so you know, Elk plays a lot of PSO2.
Maybe a little.
Same way I play a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened in PSO2 since the last time I was on the podcast. For one thing, a Thanksgiving event came and went since the last time I was here. So the whole gay area was decorated with Thanksgiving stuff. We had turkey wrappies going about, and we had a special Thanksgiving urgent quest where you had to go to Amduskia, one of the planets in the game, and you had to fight all kinds of enemies that have wings. So it's like hunting for turkeys. And there were a couple of nice Thanksgiving items that came from that. So like I got a bunch of turkey wrappy suits. I got a pilgrim dress and a pilgrim hat, among other things. What was that?
Sorry. Bit of I think that was us. Bit of background noise there, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Let's see. At the same time as the Thanksgiving event, there was also a Phantasy Star Universe throwback event. So, yeah, where the Ark's fleet is actually visited by two of that game's main protagonists, Ethan Weber and Karen Era.
Oh, those lovable characters.
Oh, Ethan.
Yes. So you have to do a bunch of quests with them, and by doing so, you get their partner cards, so they could join you on quests as computer-controlled helpers if you don't have anyone else. There's actually a bunch of computer helpers in the game. Most of them are characters unique to PSO2. You also get weapon camos based on their own signature weapons, like the Kreia doubles from Ethan, for example. So that was pretty neat. And beyond that, there was also a bunch of Phantasy Star Universe costumes you could get. You could get the same costumes and hairstyles of Ethan, Karen, and some of the other characters, as well as characters from Phantasy Star Portable 2. What's her name? Amelia from Portable 2. I can't remember her last name right now, but yeah, that's the game I'm more familiar with than Phantasy Star Universe, since I have yet to play that game still. Maybe someday.
Was that one of the PSP ones, or was that Vita?
Phantasy Star Universe was on PlayStation.
No, I mean Portable.
Oh yeah, Portable 1 and 2 were on the PSP.
That's it, yeah.
They take place in the Goral star system, so
I really want to play those.
Yeah, the story in those games occurs after the events of Phantasy Star Universe. And then right now, there is a Christmas event going on.
Really?
So there's another Christmas. So there's a Christmas urgent quest where you go to the tundra, where you have to fight off all sorts of big bad bosses that go down in seconds because everyone else who's there is with you is just too damn powerful.
Merry Christmas.
And you also get visited by something called a Santa Umbra. Now, Umbra is a giant weird character that you're actually not supposed to fight.
Does he just give you some Umbra trackies?
I don't know what a trackie is, but he does give you something called a Santa Umbra cane, which is a weapon camo for rods, I believe. It makes it look like a big candy cane. And that's what Santa Umbra carries around. And when you see Umbra, you're not actually supposed to fight it. This is something I didn't know until now.
You're supposed to fight Santa.
Yeah, well, this is also true of the regular Umbra. You're actually supposed to let it whack you with its cane. And then it'll just disappear, and after it hits you, you get a special item, and you get a timed rare item boost. So that's very handy for this urgent quest, because there's a lot of exclusive Christmas themed items you could possibly get. Before I forget, during that urgent quest, they actually play Christmas Nights music.
Hey, nice.
Until Santa Umbra hits you, and then they start playing Rare Drop Koi Koi.
All right, then.
Also, they've already launched episode 6 of the story, which is actually the final story episode for Phantasy Star Online 2. And just in time for me to have actually finished episode 5. This is the story event with the medieval world.
Oh, yes.
Right. So what happens is, without spoiling anything, that medieval world is actually the result of a black hole created by the profound darkness, which messes with something you learn about earlier called the Akashic Records, which keeps track of everything that is, was, and ever will be in the entire universe. So it takes everything in the records and it mixes them all into this made-up medieval universe where everything from outside that universe, which is called the Omega Dimension, forgot to mention that, all that stuff has been recontextualized to fit into that universe, which actually sets up a lot of implications just from the fact that Omega Dimension has its own Elise Landale. But the main draw of this story is that it also has the characters that would later become Dark Falls in PSO2. So they've, like I said, they've all been fit they've all been changed a bit to fit into this universe, but it does give you a interesting glimpse at what those characters were like before they came into contact with Dark Falls and why they became a Dark Falls in the first place. And besides PSO2, I've also turned on the Super Nintendo to play 2 of the games that have just been added to the Nintendo Switch Online, games that I just happened to own, which were, I turned on Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, and Hey Punk, Are You Tough Enough? Which I'm just
that
being
wonderful
informed.
box. Do you have a box copy?
No. Actually, well,
does it have that horrible artwork on the cartridge?
Well, technically, I do have a box copy. My copy actually comes from the Jalico Brawlers pack, which was released by Retrobit a few years ago.
Oh, okay. So you've got like the re-release, not the original of that beautiful box art.
No, I don't have the original, but it does have the original box art as one of the stickers included with the game.
Oh yeah, you can put that wherever you want, and
but
off ever going near it.
Weird name aside, though, that's actually quite a legit game for a Street Fighter 2 style fighting game from the time. It's antiquated, just like almost every game on the Super Nintendo, but it does have some merit to it. I would definitely recommend you look up the fighting, the special moves before you go into it, though, because there are some, and you're going to want to learn those.
Yeah, I must admit, I did dabble with that game a little bit on the Switch Online SNES app, and there isn't. I tried like the standard stuff you'd normally try in a fighting game, and nothing worked. So I'm gonna have to probably look that up.
Yeah, 2 of the characters, Seo and Zaz, I think his name was. Those are the Ryu and Ken of this game. They both have their own Hadouken, which has the same button command. But the rest of their moves are completely different.
I think it was because I didn't pick one of the Ryu and Ken guys.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But you really do want to look up the special moves. Especially because in this game, when you get further and further through the story mode, your special moves actually level up. So they level up 4 times. Each time they get stronger and stronger. What's also interesting about that one is actually the replay function, where you get to control a highlight of the finishing move from the.
You let you go through it frame by frame, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, you can go through it frame by frame. I'm not aware of any other fighting game from the time that ever did that. At least nothing from the 90s that I can think of. No. Yeah, and then I spent a little time with Donkey Kong Country 3, which is really interesting to go back to because I realized something about that game going through it again. When you play it, you actually start to realize there's a bit of the collectathon nature in it that Rare would later adopt for most of their games on the Nintendo 64.
Is that where it began, I guess? I mean, like all the Donkey Kong Country games had a lot of things that you have to collect, but not to quite the extent in their later years.
They did, but Donkey Kong Country 3 had a bunch of items that were more pivotal for you to collect. There were different coins you had to get for certain types of things that aren't really important early on in the game. So this game actually came out 1 year before Banjo-Kazooie. And just being
wasn't it?
Yeah, this game came out after the Nintendo 64 launched, which is why sometimes when you visit Wrinkly Kong, she's actually playing a Nintendo 64.
That's quite meta.
Yeah. So, you do notice a couple of things in there that start to that are kind of like things that you do in Banjo-Kazooie. Most of the collectibles aren't like there's nothing you need to collect in order to use certain moves or to like open up certain levels. But the world map that you go through in that game, it's not as straightforward as it was in the first 2 games. So there's a lot of room to explore in between levels and to find hidden secrets. So, it was really interesting just figuring that out because it's something I never thought about before. And it's also kind of neat that the game does have a Christmas cheat code, which I completely forgot about.
I didn't even know that was a
video
thing until someone pointed it out on Twitter and posted a little video. Yeah, it's really cute. It like changes all the music, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, only during the bonus modes. It changes the music into holiday music. If you have to collect bananas, then the bananas are Christmas ornaments instead.
That's really cute.
But it is really cute, and considering that game came out at the end of November in 1996, so it was really good timing, which is probably why Nintendo waited until now to give us Donkey Kong Country 3 on the Switch.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, of course, at the same time, it's also rather embarrassing that it took them 4 years to get the entire Donkey Kong Country trilogy on the Switch. I don't understand.
I suppose. I mean, they haven't been doing SNES games for 4 years on the Switch. They've only been doing them, what, a year, 2 years?
I know.
Year and a half? But yeah.
They should have, but they really should have gotten a lot of these games out sooner. Better late than never, I always say, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good that they're all available now.
Yeah, so it is good that they're all there now. I don't have any of the other games that they've added to the Switch, so I'm looking forward to trying those out later. Especially Super Valis 4.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a Valis game on the SNES. I was obviously just completely unaware of that. I played the Mega Drive but never touched the SNES one.
I played the first one on the Genesis, and I think I might have played Seed of Valis once, which was also on Genesis. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of at least those few games. More so the first Valis.
I had Valis 3, a Japanese copy at one point. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's interesting that the company that owns Valis now, they're planning something big for the...
They are, yeah.
I think it was the 35th. Yeah, I think it was the 35th anniversary of Valis, which is next year. So I can't wait to see what they have planned.
Yeah, I hope there's some kind of collection or something. Of the games, I should specify. Just the games.
I hope so too. There's no way. There's no way the
video games, not the stuff they did later when they got bought, when the series got bought out by a porn company.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those porn games are old enough now to be considered retro, but I understand what games you're specifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
one of those retro franchises that has one of the strangest histories. Yeah, just for that, like it got bought out by a porn company, and they made porn games of it.
Kind of unfortunate it had to go out like that,
for reasons.
Yeah. So anyway, that's been my whole 2 months? I don't know.
Yeah, there was a bit of a gap there, wasn't there, where we haven't done a few of these, but yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot. A lot of things have happened. We've all been busy.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, cool. So that's what we've been playing, and I guess now, as we would usually do at the second half of our podcast, is go into the gaming news. Bing bong, bing bong. Yeah, whatever. So I guess we should probably get the biggest one out of the way. This is the news that's just been everywhere. It's literally been on like, not even just gaming news websites, but just news websites in general. Is Cyberpunk 2077 and what a bit of a mess it has been and what it has led to since it launched. So Cyberpunk 2077, it was announced in 2012, I think.
Wow,
it was a very long. It was a very long time ago. There was like a CGI trailer for it, pretty much at the. I want to say it was near the start of. Maybe it wasn't that long. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a long time ago. It's been in development for, I think, around 8 years. And, it had tons of delays this year. It was supposed to come out at the start of the year, but obviously things that have happened this year made it get delayed. And they've had to put a lot of crunch in just to get it done. I think they were pretty much working on this game right until the very last seconds that it released. And, yeah, the game's ended up launching with tons of glitches and bugs. And the current gen versions, so like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 versions, run like absolute garbage. Like, apparently they've straight up admitted that they barely tested those versions and they kind of focused on the next gen and the PC versions. And it kind of shows, because if you try to play those games on, like a standard Xbox One or a PS4, or even the like the mid-gen ones like the X and the Pro, I think they still just run at barely 20 frames per second and just complete mess. But this has really come to a head now because apparently Sony have removed the game from the PlayStation Store, so you can't even buy it digitally at the moment. And both Sony and Microsoft are offering refunds for the game at the moment. Anyone that's dissatisfied with the game, they're literally giving them their money back.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and now we've even got CD Projekt Red investors are saying that they might sue the company over all of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, like, this isn't unusual. AAA games come out that are super ambitious. They get made, the developers are under crunch right up to the last second. There's tons of stuff that they, end up missing, or there's just so much complications that the game just comes out as a bit of a mess. This has happened loads of times over the last decade. There's been games that have come out and they're just broken, and it takes quite a bit of work to patch them into a playable state. But I don't think any of it come to quite the same magnitude of like consequences as this one has. Like, it's really quite sad, to be honest.
I can't even remember the last time a AAA game was actually recalled. Fallout 76, as bad as that game was never recalled. Bethesda refused to give people refunds.
I think that's the last time I can remember a game that just launched in a complete state. But they did eventually patch it all up. And that's going to be the case with this game. They are promising to patch it up over the next year. If anything, I just feel really bad for the developers, like the hundreds of people that have worked, possibly thousands of people that have worked on this game, because it's like they've spent 8 years non-stop working on this game. It's like, yay, it's gone gold, it's launched. Now we need to work on it for 2 more years. It's like, it just never ends. Like, there's just so much there that it just never ends.
I don't have an iota of sympathy for the people up top who decided to rush the game out.
No way.
I imagine you feel the same.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I just feel bad for the actual developers, like the people that actually worked on it, the artists and the animators and all that kind of stuff. But this game was clearly not ready. It was not ready to be released, and it was especially not ready to be on, the previous or current gen systems. But as I say, they delayed this game so many times that I think they were just like, we just need to push this out before the financial year. It needs to be out there. But it's both Microsoft and Sony are offering refunds. Sony have removed it off the store entirely. And even like physical copies, they're saying if you got proof of purchase, you can actually get a refund. This is crazy.
I've actually noticed, someone pointed out that the download cards for the game that you can get at a store like Target or something, they don't even have the CD Projekt logo on them. In its place, they actually have a file not found image.
That's quite special. Really. Kind of want to go into the fact that, as bad as it is that this game's come out as a complete mess at the moment, and there's got to be so much work to fix it up. The one light side of this is you get some hilarious photos and videos that people have been sharing. And basically, the last couple of weeks, I have been addicted to finding more videos and photos of glitches from this game, because some of them are incredible. Like, some of my absolute favourites.
I remember that.
I have a favourite.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. I'll show you a couple. I'll show you a couple of my favourites so far. So, hang on, I'm just putting it up on the stream. You won't be able to see this on the radio, but basically, this is one of my favourites right here. I knew Cyberpunk 2077 was going to be glitchy, but I did not expect my entire game to be covered with tiny trees. I love this. Look at it. It's just tiny.
I saw that.
Tiny trees.
This is some proper Bob Ross energy going
just
on
happy
here.
little trees, and it's got like a little. It's got like this reply tree. It's like Night City, a dystopian hellscape full of drugs, corruption, and tiny trees.
Yeah.
Apparently, when he updated his NVIDIA drivers, they disappeared. So that's a bit of a shame. I would actually play the game if it had all these tiny, cute little trees everywhere. Honestly. I guess another one of my favourites is this one right here. This lady is inside the pillows of my apartment every time I go home, and it's basically it's just her head sticking out of a pillow staring at him. And I think the bit that actually slayed me was, honestly, I just want her to leave. I don't know who she is.
I love the surrealism here.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not it. They're just a couple random examples I found that are not even like viral tweets. They're just ones I thought were funny. But I think the one that's gone the most viral and is probably the most infamous at this point, I don't know if someone else wants to try and explain this one.
It's very naughty.
Are we allowed to put this on?
I'm not going to show. I'm not going to show this one. I'm not going to show this one because I don't think YouTube would approve if we showed this one. But basically, they've rendered more of the human anatomy than you think they would. In fact, it's an option to basically modify in between your legs, I guess, so you can say. There's multiple bits that you can change, and you can even unlock a chrome one at some point in the game. But yeah, they rendered it. It has proper physics. It's there for reasons. They just put it in, and it's like, okay, yeah, we've programmed this. It's in the physics of the character model. What they probably didn't anticipate is, even when your characters have clothes on, sometimes it might just pop out.
As real life.
Yeah. Just forgot to slip up one day, and
yeah.
It's just,
you said
it's like when I played Postal 2.
God, 5cm Prince was doing a art stream last week, wasn't she? And I was telling you about this, and like I linked. I said to you, I'm not going to send a direct link, but I'll just say go on Twitter and search Cyberpunk glitch. It's the first thing that comes up. And live on stream, I could hear you two just crying with laughter.
I was broken.
You were absolutely busted.
She kept putting it back in my face every time. That's my favorite one.
Now I'm wondering if this game broke the records of a certain hub site that were set by Overwatch years earlier.
Or did a similar thing happen there?
I don't know, but I'm going to find out later.
Right.
Be careful where you search.
Yeah. So, and this doesn't even just apply to male characters. Like other. Sometimes you'll just be driving a motorbike and your character will just T-pose naked randomly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that can happen. Most of the glitches I've seen seem to involve the cars. Like, sometimes cars will just inexplicably explode or fly into the sky, or just all kinds of weird stuff. But yeah, obviously, out of all of us, I think it's just Hunk Thunder that's played it currently. Did you have any weird glitches in the short time you got to play it?
I haven't.
Wow.
Because basically I updated my graphics card just before I started playing it, so probably all the little trees have disappeared already.
Yeah, because you only got to play a couple hours of it on stream, didn't you? And then obviously you started upgrading your PC.
Basically, I did enjoy
I'm
playing it.
Yeah, not saying this is a bad game. I'm just saying it has a lot of issues.
But these
and some are hilarious.
It's just a bit fascinating that everyone's having sort of different experiences, all due to glitches.
Yeah, it's like everyone's copy of the game's different in some way. Like some of these glitches, like the aforementioned popping out one, that one's actually happened to quite a few people, and a lot of the ones involving cars going weird and teleporting up into the sky and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff's been pretty common. But then, for example, that tiny trees one, I have only seen one person mention that, so I don't know. It's like every copy's unique.
No experience is the same.
Yeah. Basically. But yeah, there's that. I guess we don't really need to go too much into that. Just that the working tirelessly to try and fix it up. And in some ways, sometimes that's kind of the charm with some of these games for me. Is like, oh, it's set. It's a cyberpunk dystopian future. You never know what's going to happen. Your motorbike might just inexplicably explode or just vanish into dust or something because it's the future. You just don't know.
What happens sometimes when you're in the Matrix and a hacker starts messing with the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a glitch in the Matrix.
They
should have called this. They should have said this was a Matrix game, and then they could just say, "Oh, the glitch is in the Matrix. It's intentional."
Yeah, or like Ghost in the Shell when you're a ghost.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, moving on. There was a couple of Nintendo streams in the week, but the one I really want to talk about today is they did a Super Nintendo World Direct. Just I think it was a few days ago now, earlier in the week. This was basically just to show off, because in case you don't know, Super Nintendo World is a area, not like a whole theme park, but an area that's going to open in Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, and it's finally opening in early February next year, because obviously it was due to come out it was due to open this summer, and it was basically been built for months, but due to obvious things, it got delayed. But yeah, it's launching in February, and they did a Nintendo Direct where they had Shigeru Miyamoto walking around it while it's empty, which is probably a little bit unrealistic, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was surreal seeing a big functioning theme park with nobody in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. One of my favourite things about it, very first thing Miyamoto said in the stream is, "Hi there, I'm Mario's dad." I thought that was adorable. This whole stream is adorable. I'm going to just quickly play it with no sound just so people can see some of this. Luckily, they didn't show too much. They were actually quite subtle about what they showed. Like, they didn't show off any of the actual rides there, because I know there's going to be two attractions. There's a AR Mario Kart ride, and there's a what was the other one? Like a Yoshi ride as well of some kind. But just the architecture and the design of this place, like as you enter through a giant green pipe with all lights going through it, and you walk into what is essentially a scaled down version of the castle from Mario 64, complete with Bomb Battlefield painting on the wall. Yeah, the Bomb Battlefield. And when I saw that, I honestly got a little emotional. I was like, it's real.
I don't know.
Can you jump through it?
Yeah, you shared a picture of that on Discord, and I said, that's how I'm going to get chucked out. I'm going to jump into it.
Someone's going to bash their head into that thing and break the glass.
I'm showing footage right now of what it looks like, and I can't believe how this looks. Like this, it's only a small area, but it just looks insane.
Yeah.
What gets me is how animated it is. All the coins are rotating. There's like Goombas and Yoshis all walking around on the platforms above you. Like there's shells bouncing off things and Goombas stacked on top of each other and Fromps moving up and down. And there's even like a giant piranha plant that's sleeping, and if you sort of walk past it and make noise, it will wake up and stuff like that. Oh my god. I'm glad they didn't show off too much of the rides, because the rides are going to be the thing you want to, really experience. Mostly what they showed off is just the general, like, walking around, interacting with things, because one of the selling points is you'll get, like, a little, like, interactive watch that scans into your smartphone, so you can do, like, little challenges in the area. And
nice.
Yeah, one of the things you can do, so there's question mark blocks everywhere, and you can actually punch them to collect coins. I'm a little bit worried that there's going to be a lot of maintenance with this place, because people are just going to be, there's just going to be tons of thousands of people, tons of people every day just punching everything, just punching all of these question mark blocks and power blocks, and
they got to put.
I hope they're really sturdy.
They gotta put up signs to tell people like, don't punch these things with all your strength.
Yeah.
Just
give it.
That's all.
Just give it a wee little punch, not like a.
But I
definitely
love
don't headbutt them like some
I
people
love
think
how,
Mario does.
I love how most of the blocks were so low that a small child would be able to reach it. I thought that was
that's great. So like they can jump up at it. Yeah. So
It'd be a bit like,
it's one of the question mark blocks.
I suppose it's a bit like how gentle you actually have to be with Fighting Mania.
Yeah.
You have to like use the gloves and everything.
Yeah. So they also showed the restaurant and the gift shop, and the restaurant is like a Toad themed restaurant, and there's like all these big screens for like windows of like CGI toads running around basically doing all the cooking. And they gave you and like I think they do actually sort of like interact with you in some way as well. And, they're showing off the smartphone thing. And I think one of my favourite things is they showed the gift shop, and they're going to have some like exclusive items there, obviously t-shirts and all that kind of stuff for the park. But the thing that I really absolutely fell in love with was this thing, the Toko Mario. So this is like a little toy Mario that walks on its own when you push it along. It doesn't take batteries or anything. It's so adorable. Look at it.
It's been chased by the red shell.
You know, it's kind of funny hearing Nintendo made this, because it's easy to forget that Nintendo, even though they've been making video games since the late 70s, they're still a toy company as well.
Yeah.
They never stopped doing that.
No, they didn't. No, it's they've been around. They were technically a toy company long before they were a video game company. That was just a offshoot branch of what they do.
At least since the 60s, and
for
a long time while video games were in their infancy, they were thought of as parallels of toys.
Yeah,
that was before most adults were playing video games.
Yeah, they also showed the Mario and Luigi costumes, and they actually have moving eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They got like animated
that's
eyes.
A bit creepy.
They also play
it's slightly creepy, but also looks really cool. I know they've done technology like that at the Disney parks with like they've experimented with fully animatronic faces for like Mickey, where like the mouth and everything moves. But these are just the eyes, as far as I can tell. I don't think their mouth's open, which I guess we should be thankful for.
Yeah,
but yeah, I love that he keeps saying he's his dad. Oh, it's so. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the creator of Mario and walking around this park? This is like your creation come to life. Like I can't even fathom what that feels like for him.
Oh man, you remember years ago? I actually discussed with my friend Dave. Yuji Naka being at Summer of Sonic, just like, I'm at a convention which is like, I made this.
I made
this.
I made this.
Whereas Shigeru Miyamoto's got a whole, it's potentially 4 theme parks in his honor.
Yes, because while this is opening in February in Japan, this is actually kind of news as far as I know, because from what I remember, they were planning to only build 2 of these, one in Japan and one in Florida for the 3rd Universal Park that they're planning there, which I think has been put on indefinite hold for now, so I don't know how long. They might even move the ideas within Nintendo World to one of the current 2 parks, but I don't know how that works at the moment. But yeah, they also announced that they will also be building Nintendo Worlds at the other 2 American Universal Parks, the one in Hollywood, and I can't remember what the other one is, but basically
there's one in America. Florida. There's the one in Orlando, Florida, and then there's the one in Hollywood, California.
What was the
and then the other one they mentioned is in Singapore, China.
Oh, okay. So 2 in America.
I mean, not Singapore. I forget where, but it's in
Singapore.
Asia.
Okay.
Oh, it is Singapore?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't actually aware of that. I didn't know they had one there, but they basically announced that this thing's going to be built in 3 other locations, so that's pretty sweet. They're not, it's not going to be an exclusive thing to Japan, where it's going to be available in 2 different, 2 ends of America essentially, and
it would be nice if they sort of brought it to somewhere in Europe, but don't worry, we'll
Unfortunately, there isn't any Universal Parks.
Yeah,
I was surprised to learn there's no Universal in Europe. I thought there was a Euro. Well, maybe I'm thinking of Euro Disneyland.
Yeah, we have that.
There's Ventura which is near Barcelona. That's Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've never expanded to Europe, which is a bit of a shame because I'd like to have one of these nearby.
Yeah, maybe someday. I mean, even Brazil had a Six Flags park. That's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I just can't get over how good it looks. How I can imagine Disney's Imagineers are taking notes looking at this thing because this is, like theming in theme parks has gotten really good in recent years. I still haven't been back to Florida since they've done the Avatar area in Animal Kingdom, but apparently that's incredible. Like looks like the movie and everything. And like the Star Wars area that they've expanded to in Florida and California is apparently incredible. But this is the first time I've looked at a themed area of a theme park and think that looks perfect. It looks exactly like you would imagine that to look in real life, or as close as you can get. It literally looks like a giant real life Mario level. It's insane.
One thing I'm it doesn't bother me so much since I'm a huge Mario fan and all, but it says it's Super Nintendo World, but it is basically just Mario and Donkey Kong.
Yes, they are going to expand the area to. They're going to add a Donkey Kong Country themed area as well later.
I want a Metroid laser
They
attack.
should, because Donkey Kong is also sort of part of the Mario ecosystem. Kind of like how Yoshi's part of that ecosystem, even though he has also has his own games.
So funnily enough, because they opened the Super Nintendo World website around the same time as this Direct, people actually data mined the website and found a bunch of Donkey Kong assets. So that pretty much confirmed. Well, I mean, we pretty much knew it was a thing anyway. But people have already found all this artwork for attractions that are not actually built yet.
Yeah. People just can't let Nintendo keep their secrets and reveal it on their time.
Yeah, but it's not a massive reveal to know that there's going to be a Donkey Kong.
We
thing.
knew there was going to be a Donkey Kong ride. We just didn't know exactly how it was going to work yet.
Yeah, but that got.
But yeah, I do also think it's weird that it's called Super Nintendo Land, but it's all just Mario. Like, why not call it Super Mario Land at this point?
Yeah,
it's like you said, they're going to expand it later, so maybe they'll have
probably why. Yeah.
Maybe they'll have a Legend of Zelda area before long.
I'm just glad they didn't call it New Super Mario Land or something, because it looks like it's based mostly on the new Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I guess there would have to be an old Super Mario Land for that to happen.
Yeah,
they should just have one that's completely sepia green, and it's like actual Super Mario Land, like the Game Boy game. Just everything's in sort of pukey green. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Name it Super Mario World, and then make it. Wait, no. I was thinking make everything low poly like the Nintendo 64 game, but that I got that game mixed up with Super Mario World.
They did show the interior as you're queuing up for the Mario Kart ride, and they sort of hinted at what the ride's going to entail. So basically, the ride is going to have. I'm really thankful for this because when they first announced it, I thought it was going to be a VR game and you just put a headset on, and that would have been kind of disappointing. But it actually has AR glasses, so you're just putting glasses over your face, you're essentially putting this visor on, and you can still see everything around you, but the characters are going to come through on the screen. And I think the ride involved. I think it's each cart has 4 players in it. They all have their own steering wheels, and you'll have buttons for setting off weapons and stuff. And other than that, we don't really know a lot about how this ride's going to work. But it's actually going to have a sort of racing element to it, and you will actually be attacking other vehicles somehow. I think, but yeah,
I guess it's kind of like Mario Kart Live.
Yeah, a little
or
bit.
That sort of,
or that VR Mario Kart they did a while back.
Yeah,
that's in very few places. But yeah. How many people do you reckon are gonna like just be throwing themselves at that Battlefield N64? Yeah.
One right here.
Yeah, that's going to become an issue, I think. Everyone on Twitter is literally talking about it at the moment. That's like the main thing when you search this game is I'm going to throw myself at this.
Well, the thing is,
on a helmet before you do it.
Yeah. Probably in Japan, they'd be like all respectful and saying, "Oh, this looks exactly like Super Mario 64," whereas everyone in the West is going, "Oh, I'm going to jump in it."
I'm totally going to punch and jump on everything. I'm going to climb up all these platforms. I'm going to kick all the Goombas, and then I'm going to get kicked out and banned forever.
Yeah,
we all got a sense of humor.
Yeah, I just couldn't get over some of the technology in the place as well. There was literally like this little underground labyrinth part that Miyamoto walks around, and all the tiles on the wall were like, they had like lights flying through them that just looked magical. And like when you put the wristband thing up against certain tiles, like NES sprites would pop up, and all these cool little
special coins and everything.
Yeah,
well, virtual coins, not real coins.
I guess the only thing I'm a little bit worried about is most people are going to be staring at their phones, playing the app game rather than looking at the amazing scenery around them. But I guess like it's supposed to. There are some like interactive elements within the actual park that are actually kind of like game elements. Like Miyamoto showed this thing where you punch a power block at the right time to make a green shell go into a pipe and hit like a Koopa. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, there's actual like interactive elements within the just the scenery of the park. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be cool to play around with. Although it was weird, it took me a while to figure out how the timing works because I thought you were supposed to hit the block as soon as the shell is in position, but there's actually two other blocks, so you have to time it so they all go off, and then the last one goes off when the shell's in position. So, yeah, hopefully that's not too difficult for people to figure out. They just got to be observant, is all, I guess.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'd be worried about is the fact that every one of these interactive elements is just going to have a massive queue behind it, like everyone just queuing up to punch the power block, and just like.
It might be nice if there were things like this in the lines for the ride, so you have something to keep you busy at certain points in the line.
I think what they mostly showed queue-wise for like the Mario Kart ride was there was this massive Bowser statue, and there was like recreations of all the Mario Kart trophies, like gigantic proper trophies.
Yep, all the Mario Kart trophies, and then they had a Universal trophy as well.
Yeah.
And a challenge letter from Bowser in Japanese.
Yeah, and Miyamoto was like, "Oh, I didn't know Bowser could write in kanji."
Neither did I.
Yeah, that whole stream was absolutely charming. You know, Nintendo have done a lot of weird, draconian, annoying things lately. Like the higher ups have been doing some pretty stupid stuff in the last month, which we haven't really talked about on the podcast. But I don't think we really need to because I think everyone's said enough on those subjects involving tournaments and. All kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, Nintendo still just put out some of the most charming stuff on the planet. Like they really do have a sense of magic in some of what they do, and I feel like this Nintendo world in Universal is probably one of the most magical things to come out of their franchises. Honestly, it looks amazing.
Yeah, for as much as Nintendo gets wrong, it's nice that they're still more than capable of doing nice things like this that actually make people happy.
Oh yeah. A lot of the things people are complaining about online are not really going to affect the average Joe that goes to somewhere like this, or it's not going to affect their games essentially. It's more to do with like the fandoms and stuff. But
yeah, and hopefully Nintendo can deal with that. Learn how to deal with that, but until then we got this nice theme park to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we can actually go to Japan maybe late next year or something when this garbage is bowled over, because obviously we were meant to go this year, weren't we? Because and we were hoping the Nintendo World would be open by the time we go, but At least now we've got more time to save money up.
Yeah, well, that's the
And
thing.
plan
If
better.
if
Plan more.
it did actually open on time, as before the Olympics was the original plan, would they have done a special direct for it?
Yeah, probably.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe. But
Yeah, that's the
It
thing.
is
I
like the
forgot
perfect kind.
when they introduced the when they made the introductory video for the 2020 Olympics at the end of the I don't remember if it was the 2016 Olympics or the 2018 Winter Olympics, but they actually had Mario as the mascot for the Olympics at the time. So maybe I completely forgot about that, but maybe that's what they were planning, to have this ready in time for the Olympics and make a whole thing about that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, that was clearly the case.
Yeah, that was the Rio 2016 Olympics, because basically they're both the Summer Olympics.
Yes.
And apparently Shinzo Abe really wasn't too pleased about being Mario and jumping out the pipe, because he has to wait in the same position for like half an hour before he could pop out.
I've just been stuck in this green tube for like over half an hour.
Yeah.
But they could push me out of it.
That's not like your Prime Minister's job, but...
It's like, I'm not even Italian. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. Okay, so this little bit of news I just think is quite interesting, mainly because of who actually sort of got the scoop on this. Actually, it was actually a friend of ours. So this has happened quite a few times in the past, but basically there are Dreamcast development kits out there in the wild. Like it's just basically this big tower PC thing with Dreamcast written on it, and it was used for obviously programming and testing Dreamcast games. And almost every time someone has managed to get one in an auction, they tend to have either prototype or early test builds of games on them, because obviously that's what they were used for. Another one was found recently that was owned by the developer Red Lemon Studio, who were working on what became a cancelled Dreamcast game called Take the Bullet. And basically this dev kit had a few interesting games on it, including a tech demo for a Simpsons game. So there was almost a Simpsons game for the Dreamcast. This was actually... Basically, the scoop for this was from our friend PC Wizard. And he actually released the first footage on...
Oh, blimey, he found it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't him that got the development kit, but basically the guy that had the dev kit sent him over the files, and he got them running on an actual Dreamcast and put out the first footage on YouTube of it. And this news has basically spread to all the gaming news websites now, and it's really done the Dreamcastic channel a solid, really, having this big scoop. But basically, this game is essentially a pitch. I don't think it ever got to a point where it was actually being developed as a commissioned game. Red Lemon Studios, they pitched it to Fox, who I assume just rejected it outright. Either, I don't know if it was based on the concept or the fact that it was for the Dreamcast, and the Dreamcast was already on its way out by late 2000s or whatever. But yeah, it is basically just a tech demo. There isn't a lot to it. So the game's called Simpsons Bug Squad, and you play as a fly that's walking around the Simpsons house. And basically the tech demo has you walking and flying around a house, and you can walk around both the Simpsons kitchen and their living room where the TV is. And that's kind of it, really. They just did this as a proof of concept. It's not there isn't a lot to it. But what's really impressive about it is just how good the interiors look. Like, they really do look like the show. And it's all cel shaded as well. This was you got to remember, this was like 2000. This was around that time when cel shaded graphics was still kind of a new thing. Jet Set Radio had just not long come out. There was a couple Simpsons games that came out on the PlayStation around the same time. I think it was like Simpsons Wrestling or something like that.
Yeah, Simpsons Wrestling. That was after the demo was made.
Yes. So this might actually be the first cel-shaded Simpsons game that was in some form of development, and obviously it didn't get finished. But yeah, it has a lot of slowdown because obviously it's just a preview idea and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you a little bit of footage on the stream so you can see a little bit of it. Also, Homer's walking around occasionally, so you do get to see a character walking around as well.
And Homer's face looks so creepy with his mouth perpetually open the way it is.
Yeah. So yeah, really amazing that PC Wizard managed to get essentially the scoop of this. Oh, one little detail I really like is the TV is actually playing sort of like an animated GIF of a whole chunk of an episode of Old Simpsons. It's specifically that Itchy and Scratchy that was based on. It was like Itchy and Scratchy, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Like it's actually got that as like a fuzzy clip on the telly that loops. Which I just don't understand why it's. A, I don't understand why you're playing as a bug, and B, this bug doesn't look like it belongs in The Simpsons at all. It's just got like a completely different art style.
Yeah,
So I can actually sort of answer that. After this video surfaced, a PC Wizard, he got the attention of one of the developers who worked on this.
Oh, yes, he did, yeah.
Yeah, a Dr. Andy Campbell. So, hey, PhD.
Doctor.
Yeah. So this guy says that apparently they weren't actually planning a Simpsons game, but they had the cel-shaded technology, and someone at Red Lemon Studios had contacts with Fox. So when they pitched this to them, they decided maybe if we make something based around The Simpsons, they might be interested in picking it up and to have us work on a Simpsons game. So
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so if they had actually taken them up on their pitch, it's possible if Fox had taken them up on their pitch, it could have just as easily been a game based on, say, Futurama or King of the Hill.
Yeah, it could have been anything, you know. I guess they just went with Simpsons because that would be like the easiest thing to sell, you know.
Yeah, I mean, The Simpsons, even back then, it was the one of the most successful primetime television shows in America. So it did make perfect sense to tie it to that.
Yeah.
So the bug, I wouldn't know what the bug is. I'm guessing that's just a stock asset they made earlier that they decided to repurpose for this demo, because it really doesn't look like it belongs in the Simpsons world, does it?
No.
The Mr. Mark here, it should have been a butterfly. Because nobody suspects the butterfly.
I just remembered what that is. Yeah, that would have been interesting.
That sort of vision.
That was
where he imagines he's a butterfly that burns down the skull, and only Principal Skinner knows that it's the butterfly, and nobody else suspects him. Nobody suspects.
Yeah, you said that a while ago, and then I completely forgot that was a thing on The Simpsons at one point.
Yeah.
Simpsons did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically well done to PC Wizard for getting that scoop, because it's on Eurogamer, it's on Kotaku, it's all over the place, and the video's being posted everywhere, and that's really cool. There was a couple other little things that were found on there as well, but they're not quite as interesting. But yeah, there is a few other little bits and bobs. The best place to check for that would be on the Dreamcast Junkyard. They've got a good little article basically summing up everything that's been found so far on this dev kit. But yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. I just think it's neat.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got an excuse to use that this time.
Always nice to see a almost lost piece of video game history unearthed.
Yeah, definitely. Especially stuff we didn't even know about. Especially stuff that wasn't even announced or even, started. It was just a pitch. Essentially.
It's kind of funny thinking about how there never was a game based on The Simpsons on the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
there would be games later on the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, and the GameCube. But yeah, maybe those would have been on Dreamcast if it had stuck around a little longer. But nothing like that ever happened on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's one of those IPs that just kind of it wasn't really going for that short period of time that the Dreamcast was relevant, I guess, which is a bit of a shame. I still feel like the Dreamcast is like it got stolen away from us way too early, and I kind of wish it had even just an extra year, because I reckon just one year would have probably given us like, I don't know, almost 100 extra games or something.
Yeah,
we would have got some pretty good stuff.
It is sad that the Dreamcast never had the chance to reach its full potential, unlike the and almost any other console, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we've got another little bit of Sega news. We should really talk Sega, since we're on Radio Sega. And all they did say, it's not really a big deal if we don't talk about Sega, but we're on Radio Sega right now, so we should, I guess. So this is a little bit of Yakuza news. So basically there was an interview in Famitsu with Nagoshi and the voice actors of Ichiban from Like a Dragon and Kiryu from the rest of the games. And they basically pretty much confirmed that Ichiban is going to be the lead character for the Yakuza series for essentially the foreseeable future.
Yay!
I mean, I got no complaints.
I'm fine with that.
I've never even played Like a Dragon yet, but I already like the character.
I've grown to him very quickly. He's very charming and likable. If anything, I would go out there and I'd put myself out there and say he's got more character than Kiryu does.
Yeah.
You ever notice that he's actually the complete polar opposite of Kiryu?
Yeah.
Right down to his suit, because Kiryu, he wears the gray suit with the red undershirt, whereas Ichiban has the white undershirt and the red suit.
That's right, yeah.
I had a feeling that this was going to be the case, because the way they revealed, at the time when they didn't even have a name for it, it was just, here's the next Yakuza game, it's not going to be about Kiryu, this is the new, series, essentially. And they revealed Ichiban the first time, and it was pretty apparent that he was going to be the protagonist from now on, and it's not like a one-off thing, as far as I can tell. I mean, obviously, I don't know where the plot goes near the end, or if anything big happens to him. But obviously, we're not going to. If something like that happens, then obviously we're not going to talk about it here. But yeah,
we're certainly getting the kind of the vibe that this game is very much a passing of the torch sort of thing.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Because they very specifically, made Judgment a spin-off. They were very specific about that game being a spin-off.
Yeah.
So, not the seventh game. Even though it was essentially a Yakuza game in most ways. Almost every way, except for some extra little gameplay ideas. Whereas this one's a lot more drastic in what it's added. It's a completely different gameplay style for the combat. It's all role-playing instead of real-time combat.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying that change of pace a lot, actually. It's just working for me. I don't, even if the series carries on going this way for a little while, I'm pretty cool with that, to be honest.
Yeah, it does make me wonder if, whatever the next main Yakuza game is, if it is going to be more of this, role-playing game style, or if they're going to go back to the combat style. But either way, I can imagine they'll probably stick with it for at least one other game, just to see how far they can take it.
Yeah,
at least I hope so. Anyway.
If anything, what I expect them to do, or at least what I would do, is they could stick with the role-playing game structure for the main series, which Like a Dragon is a part of. It's even called Yakuza 7 in Japan.
Yeah.
And then for spin-off, whenever they make a spin-off like Judgment or Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, they could go back to the original battle style, unless of course they come up with something a little more fitting for whatever universe the game comes from.
Absolutely, yeah. I could see that working.
Yeah, so if it's something in a completely different world, like Fist of the North Star, where it's not always fighting as usual, then they could change it up. But otherwise, just do what you used to do when it comes to stuff like that.
One thing I liked in the interview that I thought was quite amusing was how Nagoshi directly talks to Ichiban's voice actor and says, "You're going to help me make a living for the next 10 years. You're going to make me a lot of money, kid."
I like
That's called job. That's called job security.
Yeah, it is.
Lucky bastard. He walked in on a pre-made series for him.
More or less. Yeah.
The other thing that was really nice as well was that I read this interview as well, and it was really nice to see how Kiryu's voice actor sort of acted like a senpai, you know,
Like a mentor,
he mentored him and sort of taught him the ropes. It's like, trust me, I've done this a lot. It's not my first rodeo. I have done many rodeos.
Which reminds me, did you know that Ichiban's Japanese voice actor is the same voice actor for Akira Nishikiyama?
Really?
Huh.
Yep, same guy.
I did not know that.
Yep, so he, after everything he went through in Yakuza before, even if it's not the same character, he finally gets to have the spotlight this time. He gets to be the guy on top.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
Huh.
Yeah, same guy. That guy was also the voice of Shin in Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise.
Oh, so he's already got experience in the series then.
That'd probably be why Kiryu's voice actor was like his mentor, probably for those games. Yeah.
There we go then. Because let me tell you, his character in Zero is really, really well explored. They sort of, with the original game, they're just like, oh, he's an old friend of yours. He's going to be the last boss. That's about it. You know, you didn't get enough of the exposition between. Like, you don't know why he turned so sort of ambitious and nasty. They say with the Kwame remake, they sort of put in an extra like nearly hour's worth of cutscenes to try and fix that. But the best way they fixed it was in Zero by just giving him so much more character and depth to it in the first place. So you really got that the weight of their friendship. You know, they're basically brothers. That's just one of the many reasons why Zero is the best game in the entire series.
Exactly, and in that game, you kind of see the cracks in Nishikiyama's character, so it makes perfect sense why he ends up the way he does years later.
Yeah, it's even so though perfectly done.
Even though he's so in that game, he's so committed to doing the right thing, but like there's a point in the game which I'm not going to spoil, which he nearly does crack, and he really wants to. He really wants to do something bad because he thinks it's the right thing to do, but he just can't go through with it in the end.
Oh, I know the point. I know the bit. It's a very powerful piece of video game writing right there. I recently watched a video. It was a streamer, and they basically just like done a YouTube video of their highlights, and it was like all the different moments that Yakuza made me feel things.
Oh, nice!
And I connected on so many points with it as well. Like I had a lot of the same reactions to a lot of the stuff because that game story is
almost every game in that series caused me to tear up. I can't even remember. I think it was Yakuza. Oh, wait, no. Yakuza 4 made me tear up. I can't remember which one I didn't tear up at all during the whole thing.
I can tell you the two that got me the most. Zero, obviously, and then the ending of 6. Oh, my God, was that special.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was easily got the most powerful feelings out of me.
Absolutely.
Yakuza 6.
I mean, that was kind of like the end of the era game, wasn't it? Again,
it was, and it's a lot more powerful if you play every game that came before that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you don't play them in order.
Yeah. I bought 6 several years ago, and I was waiting for this remastered collection because I was like, I will not play this game until I've played all the others. And I'm so glad I did it. This year was the year I finally did it, because just before the COVID, excrement hit the fan, the remastered box set came out, and oh God, it was one of my favorite purchases ever. And that's what I've been doing all year. It's just been playing, like, catching up on those games I missed out last year.
Yeah, I'm still at the point where I need to need to catch up with these. I really enjoy.
Oh, I can't.
I know
wait
they're
till
on
you do.
PC, but I feel like that's a bit of a wasted opportunity because they're digital only there. Whereas I would like to get a PlayStation and actually own them and just play through them because I know I'm going to love them. I'm just holding off until I can get the console to play them on.
Yeah.
Well, however you decide to go about it, it's definitely worth the experience.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And that collection was great just for getting a physical, finally getting a physical release of Yakuza 5 alone.
Yeah.
They even put like a PS3 box in there, didn't they?
Yes,
For, like, one of
they
the
did.
They did. There's an empty PS3 box.
That's
just
so
in case
cute.
Just in case you want something to put on your shelf of PS3 games to go along with it.
I love that they did that.
That is really nice.
Also, you know what's really funny, by the way? Yakuza 5 for PlayStation 3 is still available to purchase on the PlayStation Store for $40, which is actually double the price of the PlayStation 5 version. PlayStation 4 version, I mean.
Yeah, the remaster, which actually fixed the frame rate and everything.
Yeah, there's no reason to go back to the PS3 version now that we got this.
No, of course.
Unless you're really that hell-bent on getting the trophies for both versions, which I'm not.
Yeah, good luck to you if that's you, but yeah, it is still available to purchase if you really want it. For now, anyway.
I know that 5 is really bad for frame rate, like on the original. The original PS3 version. The frame rate's all over the place. Sometimes it drops to like below 20.
It was a much snappier experience than the other PS3 Yakuza games. But
really?
It was, but that was mostly due to the improvements to the engine. So like when you get into a fight, you instantly get into the fight, even if it takes a few seconds. But it's a lot quicker than Yakuza 3 or 4. Yeah,
because they do all that like talking crap before and after the fight, didn't they? That always did my head in. It was
and then after that, it takes like 10 seconds to load the actual fight.
Yeah.
But even when you play the remaster of 3 and 4, you still have all that talking. But after that's over, the fight instantly starts.
That's true, yeah. But yeah, when you do start AnimatedAF, when you get your PS4, and hell, I'll buy you the copy of Zero. I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see.
Definitely where I want to start. That's definitely where I'm starting.
That's where
it's a PlayStation hit now, so I think it costs like the equivalent of $10 for you.
Yeah, it's very cheap now.
It's
incredibly cheap,
and it is the game that anyone should start on. You know, I've seen some stuff recently that says that Like a Dragon's also a good point to start. I can kind of see that because
it's actually a new start.
But there are certain points in the story that I won't spoil that maybe that's not the case because you won't quite feel the weight of what's going to happen. But apart from that, I could kind of agree. But no, for my money, anyone who's thinking of getting into the series, I would say Zero every time, hands down.
I've seen the argument that it's better to start with Yakuza Kiwami and then go into Yakuza 0 whenever you want.
Yeah.
Because
that could work as well.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all up to taste, but in that case, you get to see what Kiryu, Majima, and all the other major characters are like during the current time period. And then you get that, when you play 0, you get that whiplash of seeing those characters, what they were like a long time before, and you're like, this is not what Kiryu would do. This is not like the game starts with Kiryu beating the crap out of a helpless guy to take his money, and that's if you know Kiryu, at least in the years since the events of Yakuza 0, you know he would never do that to an innocent person.
You've made a really good point there, because it's hard, isn't it? Because for my money, I would say start with 0, but on the other side of the coin was my first game that I played was quite a few years back. I played the original on the PlayStation 2 first, and like you say, I did get that weird that whiplash of seeing him being completely different because he's younger and more angry. So it's kind of like you can really take your pick, can't you? You can go with Kiwami 1, a really good remake of the first game that fixes a few of the issues with the first game, or you can have 0 as well. And either way, it's gonna be a good experience. But like I say, you could do either one.
Yeah, either one. There's really no right or wrong way to go about it.
Yeah.
It is nice to see Kiryu and Majima acting completely different and seeing how the circumstances of what happens to them in that game. Because, like I say, for my money, 0 is the best one with the most hard-hitting story. I challenge anyone to sit through the entire story and not choke up. It's impossible. You cannot do it. I would do it as a challenge. I would do it as a challenge to have the ending of 0 and the ending of 6.
Have little cups under your eyes.
Yeah.
Just check that there's no tears coming down.
Yeah, just
I have to do I have to sit through both the endings for those games and not just break down because I can't do it.
Right, I've got some espresso cups for you to do that.
Yeah, get some little espresso cups. Just hold them by. Have them glued to your, or I don't know, attached to your face.
Apologies, guys. I'm going to have to mute for a little while.
That's cool.
Got a bit of a delivery.
We're actually probably going to wrap up now anyway, because I think we pretty much got through all the news. So,
okie doke.
Yeah, that's everything for this podcast, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can join you for that wrap up. But if not, goodbye, everyone, and it's been great. But I shall hopefully be back very soon. I'm just going to mute for a little while. Okay.
I mean, there was that Fantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis stream. I don't know if there was anything in that you'd like to talk about, Elk, because I did watch a bit of that.
Was that the one?
Yeah, there's a couple things, but not so much that I'm gonna have a hard time keeping it brief.
Yeah, because I did watch through that. I sort of skipped around through it, and I didn't really see any big announcements as such. It was more just a summary of what to expect.
Yeah, and it was really weird watching the English version of the stream because it had to be live translated, and the voices of the people who are translating everything, and I mean they translate everything.
Oh my god, yeah, that was a bit difficult. I get it. It's hard to translate someone live. It's hard to catch up with quite fast talking. But my god, that voice, it sounded like Piglet from Winnie the Pooh or something. It was like, oh, it is very exciting. It's what's happening? Why is it putting on this weird voice?
That first voice from the start of the video, most of the time I couldn't even understand what he was saying. He was talking so fast it was messing up his English.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I wouldn't like to do that myself personally. I wouldn't like to try and translate something live like that. That must be hard.
Me neither. Translating pre-recorded voice is hard enough. Yeah, but anyway, about the game, I think most of us remember what this is going to be like. This is more of an open world game than any online Phantasy Star game from before.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole world to explore. They went over all the different moves you have to help you explore.
Stuff,
yeah, like the photon dash, the photon glide, and the fact that you can automatically jump up ledges that are just low enough for you to be able to jump up.
Mm-hmm.
But they talked about what this world was. I forget the name of the world exactly. I gotta look it up again.
I guess.
But this is a completely different planet from any planet that appeared in Phantasy Star Online 2. It's
I think the thing that really impressed me about it is when they started showing off, because essentially this is in the same executable as PSO2, even though you could argue
it is
PSO3. You could argue this is a whole new game. But obviously they don't want to lose the audience, the massive fan base that they have for the previous game. So
I was expecting
it on. But what I was really impressed by was how you can jump back and forth between the two games. They made it really seamless to just walk into a pod and just jump back into the old game, then jump back into the new game. I thought that was really impressive.
I was expecting you to have to choose one game from the launcher, and then if you want to jump into the next game, you have to exit and then open up the launcher again. But no, you do that from the menu, which now it makes perfect sense.
Seamless.
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense why PSO2 is going to use the same upgraded graphics engine now.
Yes, they're actually upgrading the entire engine to match the new game, which is insane. Like, I don't even know how they're pulling that off. They're taking this game
and they showed a bit of
had
how
all this stuff added to it over 8 years, and they're redoing the whole engine. That's mad.
Yeah, and they showed off a bit of what it looks like PSO2, and it does look so much better. The lighting and the detail, it's like worlds apart from what it's like now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I think there was actually real-time shadows, which I believe the game currently does not have.
I think that's the thing people forget. You know, PSO2 is an old game. Just because we only got it like technically last year or this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's an old ass game. I totally understand why people can't get into it now, because it's kind of, you know, it's not super janky, but it is an old MMO. You know, it's been around for 8 years in Japan. We only just got it. Japan's obviously been waiting forever for them to just finally move on and make a sequel, and they are centrally doing that, but they're putting it within 2, so you don't have to, you know, abandon the previous game. You can still jump back and forth between the 2, and they've just found the best of both worlds for everything with this.
Exactly.
It's really impressive.
In fact, the game is so old that it's actually using that old Sega bumper when you start it up that they used to use in the early 2000s. Yeah, that boring Sega voice instead of that den that they have today. It's so surreal seeing that in a game that launched in 2020.
I wish they would just get someone to record a new high-quality version of Sega.
That would be fun.
Because
but anyway,
the sample they've been using is so old and nasty sounding.
Yeah, you got to think it's from the 80s, early 80s. So yeah, at least.
Yeah. Anyway, New Genesis, it takes place on a new planet called Halpha. I'm looking this up now. Where there's ARCS members who come down on the planet, crashing down on meteors, which I assume is how your character winds up on Halpha. And they have to deal with an invasive force called dolls, which are they're the monsters of this game. So, which that kind of makes me think of Xenoblade Chronicles X, the Wii U game.
Even just the look of this game makes me think of Xenoblade. Honestly, like the massive worlds in it, and that it really gives me Xenoblade vibes.
Yeah, it has that whole Xenoblade 2 Chronicles 2 thing where you're exploring an uncharted planet where most of it is not colonized. So and then there's the whole there's also cocoons, I believe they're called, where this is where the quests come in, where you find these and they take you into an instanced area with a quest you have to go through. So think of it like the shrines from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And then there's also urgent quests that can just happen at any time while you're exploring the world, where like a boss shows up, and if you happen to be in the area, you gotta go kick its butt. You can also find these things called region mags. They're these statues lying about where if you give it an item, it'll give you a special timed boost. So like maybe you'd get a higher chance of rare items or more XP, or maybe it'll increase your offense, your defense skills. And in the live stream, they actually said it's similar to the I forget what they're called exactly, the Jinzo statues that are scattered about Japan.
Oh yeah,
where people also make offerings to those for like a divine blessing.
Yeah,
I forget what they're called though. I'm thinking Jinzo, but I'm probably thinking of the Jinjos from Banjo-Kazooie.
I think you're right.
I think
it is Jinzo.
Yeah, well, there's also a central city somewhere on the planet where that's the base of operations. So you have your item shops there, your crafting areas, your food stands where you can make food from all the ingredients that you find in the field. And there's all of this stuff is also in PSO2. So you can craft items in that game, you can make food in that game. This is where you'll be able to do that in New Genesis.
I didn't see it. They didn't announce an actual like beta or any kind of release date, did they?
Well, they did actually announce a closed beta, but only for Japan.
Okay. Oh, when was
So
that
the Japanese closed beta is supposed to take place, I think, in late January.
Oh, okay. So,
And
what I've heard about
forget
this one is it will actually come out worldwide when it's done. When it's ready to come out, it will come out worldwide. We're not going to have to wait 8 years this time.
Yep, it will come out sometime within next year. I'm
I
not
feel
sure
like-
when exactly.
I feel like this is going to be a good time for a lot of people that couldn't get into the original PSO2 to jump in because it's a modern game. Like, I feel like it's going to, hopefully it doesn't have some of like the jankiness of the original game. Maybe the menus are a little bit smoother to get around because it's a very overwhelming game. Jumping into that 8 years later is a lot. There's a lot there. There's a lot to take in. So having New Genesis as an alternative to basically jump in from from this essentially a new start. It is basically PSO3, but
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it may as well be. Like, I get why they're doing it the way they're doing it, but yeah, this is a brand new game.
It also helps that even if you have been playing PSO2 for a while, like I have, you can take your character from that game and bring it to New Genesis, along with several different items, such as costumes or emotes, for example. All of that, not everything will carry over, but those things in particular will carry over. And you can take your New Genesis character into vanilla PSO2, which I completely forgot about until this
that's
live
what I mean.
stream.
They've made it really seamless to just jump back and forth between the games without having to like lose your costume or whatever. They've made it so it's pretty seamless going from one game to the other. I think that's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
not to mention the character creator has a lot more going on to it. So there's all sorts of superfluous details you could go through. Like
you could even make their pupils go like really high up and stuff, and do weird stuff to them. It was a bit too much.
Yeah,
and you could bolt so many costumes on top of them as well.
And like, if you wanted to, you can make them open their mouth perpetually. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can.
It's like Homer Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah, or you can have them with one of their eyes closed.
Yeah, right.
So, like, pretend they have one eye.
With that, we really need to wrap up because it's almost 10.
Yeah, I think that's about everything anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't like a massive news dump. It was basically just showing like the classes mostly, but it did show some pretty interesting stuff about how it's going to work, and they're going to have a closed beta in January. So I guess hopefully we'll find out when we're going to get that closed beta, maybe sometime next year. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'll be there whenever it happens, assuming I can upgrade my computer in time, because that's the other thing.
It's gonna be
with the new graphics, the minimum system requirements for PC players are going to go up.
Of course,
and my computer, the way it is right now, the graphics card and the processor are not good enough.
Right. So with that, that'll be the podcast, because we got to let the next guys on the Sega Radio Sega WinterFest thing get ready, or
it's a festive surprise, I believe.
Yeah, we don't even know what it is yet, so I guess you'll soon find out. So yeah,
I just want to say a massive thanks to the guys at Radio Sega for hosting us.
Yeah,
it's been amazing.
I was really pleasantly surprised when we got that message about it from Green Viper and all that. It's been an honour. It's been awesome.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. So I've been AnimatedAF.
I've been Cherry Terrier.
I've been Murry Curry.
I've been Hunk Thunder.
And I've been Sonic the Hedgehog. And I've already left to play some more Fantasy Star Online 2.
That's an AI
Why did
generator, isn't it?
No, it's Sonic. It's Sonic. He's actually here.
It was so great planning this out ahead of time.
I'm so glad you didn't spoil this.
Good night.
Oh, that was nice.
That was lovely. Yeah, everyone out there, stay safe. It's horrible, especially in certain areas of the UK right now. It's a complete garbage at the moment. I hope you all stay safe over the Christmas period.
Yeah, me and Hunk Thunder are currently in the worst spot, aren't we, at the moment?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right in the epicenter.
Yeah.
But it's 4 days till Christmas, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay indoors.
yep.
And
Well,
wear
yep.
your damn masks.
Yes, absolutely. So stay safe and have a good one, guys.
You all have everyone have a great Christmas, and we will be back just after Christmas because for our next podcast, I think we should do a Games of the Year special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that would be a pretty cool way to wrap up the year. So yeah, we will see you guys another time. Bye.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Have a good night and be safe out there.
Bye.
See ya.